Hi there. So this is BB True Crime. I'm Beth. That's Becky.
I am. It is episode 2.
It is episode
Dos.
2 left. So today we are delving into the mystery of Elisa Lam. Yeah, very, very well-known case.
Oh,
A bit sad, honestly.
trippy.
A bit like, the good old boy with the box. Last episode, that was pretty sad. But we're also here. We're also going to do episode 3, which will be uploaded next after this. And I'm very excited about that because we are dealing with Ed Gein. And it's insane.
I'm grateful after being plunged into a depression pit 2 episodes in a row. I need some kind of
Insane motherfucker.
insane mofo crime right now because Jesus Christ.
Well, we have our cuppers, so feel free to go get one. Grab some scran.
We don't have any scran this time.
We don't have any scran this time. But here we go. We're going to delve in. So,
go for it. Hit me.
Elisa Lam, 21.
Yep.
And unfortunately 21 at her time of death.
Oh, that's a depressing way of opening this up. Okay.
Yeah. Very young, unfortunately. She is a student in America from Canada. She decides to go on a sightseeing trip around America after she has graduated.
Dangerous.
So on January, I would like to say she also went to several of different locations before this, but unfortunately the tale ends in LA at the Cecil Hotel.
Even I know that name. Traumatizing.
Yeah. So on January the 26th is when she arrived in LA, and after 2 days checked into the infamous Cecil Hotel. She originally was in a shared room on the 5th floor, but her roommates actually complained that she was giving off some very odd behaviour towards them. Sometimes she'd lock them out, lock herself in the room. Sometimes she'd leave them notes that said "get out" or that kind of thing.
Ooh, that's a bit creepy.
Yeah. The Cecil itself has a very, very bad reputation. So it did well in the beginning, and then all seemed to go downhill around the time of the Great Depression.
Yes.
And honestly, it just decayed from there. Several murders have happened either in the hotel itself or connected to the hotel. There is a lady called Goldie Osgood who was raped and murdered in her room in the hotel, and unfortunately the case remains unsolved to this day.
Right.
Yeah. Rich Ramirez. Most popularly known as the Night Stalker, also stayed in the hotel for long periods of time in the middle of his crime spree. Yeah. There's been multiple suicides. One of them slashed her own throat in the hotel.
Oh, nice.
There was one woman that no, I don't want to laugh about this.
Oh God. Oh Jesus. When you start with that, you know shit's about to go downhill. Right, what are you not laughing at, but are smiling slightly?
She jumped from one of the windows of the hotel and landed on a passerby.
Well, that's gonna be therapy.
The passerby died instantly.
Oh, so they both died?
They both died.
Does she get charged for murder posthumously?
I mean, it's a crime to commit suicide, but even though that makes no sense, no to man.
What are they gonna do?
I know.
Whip out the Ouija board and be like, you're going to serve 10 years in the heavenly jails.
What they're gonna do, fucking bring the corpse? No, I don't know. So that's the thing. But yeah, unfortunately, both those people were killed instantly.
Great.
Yeah.
Sexy.
So, clearly has a great reputation.
Yeah, clearly.
I'd just like to comment, the Cecil Hotel is still up and running today. Has had a few renovations. There is it's been split into 2 parts. So there is like a renovated lower floor bit.
Oh, then there's a nice high-ranking apartments at the top, isn't there?
It's the opposite. The nice bit's at the bottom.
Oh, the nice bit's at the bottom, the nasty bit's at the top.
And then the still grisly places at the top. The grisly top mostly holds people that actually live in the hotel full time, and then lower down is where like tourists and people will come. Mostly young people actually stay on the bottom floor.
Yeah, it's probably because it's cheaper.
Yeah, apparently it is quite cheap. I'm not surprised.
You could not pay me to stay there.
Oh, that's a shame because I would like to go stay there. Right. So back to Elisa Lam.
Back to Elisa Lam.
So she had bipolar disorder and depression. And she was actually on 4 medications to deal with those. One of them was an antipsychotic.
Oh, we love the old antipsychotics.
A few were, antidepressants. One was for bipolar, that kind of thing.
So she was having some problems, yes.
Yeah. She was known to post about her mental health struggles actually online. She had 2 blogs. She started off. The first one, I cannot remember where that actually started off, but she eventually moved it to Tumblr, which the blog is still up today, but it's mostly just like old posts, and most of the posts have been taken off now. Yeah, but it still runs, and apparently there were still blogs being posted after she died, so it's probably known that she probably put things in a queue to be posted at specific times. Yeah, so nothing fishy there.
Thank goodness, because that would be a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
But no.
So Elisa contacted her parents every day. That was one of the reasons they let her go.
Yes.
The
good old check in with us.
Yeah, check in with us. However, on February the 1st, 2013, which was actually her checkout date at the hotel, no one had heard from her. And so her family called the police, and they actually also flew down to LA to help the search.
Okay.
Her room was searched. Apparently it was quite a mess. And police dogs were also used at the hotel and the roof, but they unfortunately didn't find anything. No sign of her, nothing. So about a week later, and I'm not sure why it took a week for them to get this, which I think pulls in some suspicion to the hotel and its employers and that kind of thing. The manager is a bit suspicious.
Is that the weird woman?
Yeah.
Who was like, I don't understand why everybody thinks I'm benefiting from this financially when she's sitting in a nice, fancy little tailored suit.
Yeah, literally.
Oh yeah, what either gave that away?
So yeah, for some reason, it took a week, but a week later after nothing, the case was made public that this woman was missing and flyers were posted out and everything. But for some reason, actually, it's probably longer than a week. I think it's about 2 weeks. The police then released the famous elevator video.
Oh yeah, like the last known footage to like see if everybody else can figure it out.
Yeah,
because they can't.
Yeah, I don't know why it took the police that long to have this evidence.
Don't query
but they did. So in the video, she's seen alone. I'd like to comment that we've both seen the video.
We have. It was the most disturbing thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was quite.
And you've made me watch some shit in my life, so.
Yeah, it was quite creepy. It was quite creepy. Yeah. She's seen making unusual movements and gestures and coming in and out of the lift several times, and then finally, the last part of the footage, she gets off the elevator and is never seen again. And that footage was actually from the 1st of February, so that was the day that she went missing. Yeah. So there is several theories about the behavior in the lift from people online. Ones that she might have been trying to escape a pursuer.
Oh, the one where they say she looks like she's looking around the corner or something.
Yeah, looking for someone.
Stuff like that.
There's others that say she may have been on drugs. However, I'd like to point out that none were found in her blood system.
Well, that's good.
Or that her bipolar was to blame. It is important to note, however, that almost 1 minute of footage was missing from the elevator
center
footage.
of the Videos of video.
Yeah.
Video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The police have no idea about this missing footage. They don't know where it is or why it's missing. The hotel also suspiciously say that they also don't know anything about this minute video.
It just malfunctioned for an entire minute while a murder victim was going up an elevator. How conspicuous.
So that's one of the things that makes people quite suspicious of the case. Sort of helps those theories come to light. And the 1 minute missing footage never been
found.
solved. No, never, no idea. So during the search, and this is where it starts to get a little bit disturbing. Guests at the hotel start complaining about the water pressure in the hotel.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm drinking my tea.
I'm sorry. We're gonna do this. They also found they had complaints that their water was almost black in colour, and I don't know who is doing this, but apparently
it tastes funny.
Yeah, some people were like, it has an unusual taste, and I'm just there thinking, if your water is black, why are you drinking it?
I don't drink my water if there's bubbles in it. You know when you put your tap on it, that goes like, there's loads of bubbles. I don't drink it then.
Why are they drinking it if it's like black? Come on. If it looks funky, if it smells funky,
can you just imagine ingesting human being?
I know, well, they'd know what it tastes like now, wouldn't they? Oh my! Can you imagine though when the news comes out about where she's been? These people that have been drinking this black water. Oh my god!
No, there was that couple, wasn't there, on the
yeah
on the documentary, yeah. They were like, run the water, and they were like, they drank it as well, and we were like, why? What? Why?
I can't believe there were some people that still drank it. Just go to the shop and buy some bottled water.
To be fair, with the area around Cecil Hotel, I wouldn't want to leave either.
True, good old famous Skid Row. So, February 19th, it all comes to a head.
Okay.
So, what's that? Just over 2 weeks that she's been missing, coming up to 3. A hotel worker found Elisa's body in one of the water tanks on the roof. She was found laying face up in the water.
Ah, yes. I remember this bit.
So, 3 days later, on the 21st, the coroner determined that it was an accidental drowning, and that bipolar was like a big thing in what happened in her death. She was also found naked, and her clothing, this is in the water tank, and her clothing was found floating around her. So it could have been that when she was in the water tank, so in a lot of cases of like hypothermia, victims will actually get hot. Which is a bit weird considering it's hypothermia, but they'll get hot towards the time of their death with hypothermia.
Oh, so they'll take their clothes off.
Yeah. And then obviously then they pass away not long after. Yeah. She also had on her room key and her watch. The body was mildly decomposed. No surprise there, she is in water. It's also bloated and slightly green in colour. Very sexy.
Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah. There was, however, no physical trauma. Rumoured that there was no evidence of rape or suicide either. I'll come back to the rumoured part in a minute.
She starts with rumoured. She's about to go down.
She did have traces of medication in her system, which was the med she was supposed to be taking. She also had a very small amount of alcohol, but nothing that would have, done anything to her.
Made her voluntarily jump in a water tank in the middle of February.
Yeah, exactly. However, the amount of medication that were found in her system showed that it was either from her under-medicating, or that she had stopped taking them for a few days.
Oh, okay.
And obviously, if you've been on meds for a while, especially for, that kind of thing, and you stop taking them immediately instead of, weaning off them, you do tend
Makes you worse before you get better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the way that Elisa was found, and how she found her way to the roof is highly debated, across many things. So
as it always is with unsolved cases.
Exactly. So the stairs and the door to the roof are always locked, and only staff have the keys or codes to the doors.
Oh, so she magically managed away. Oh, what about the stairs?
What was that, sorry?
The stairs. There's stairs to the roofs in America, aren't there?
Yeah.
Did she climb the stairs?
As in, did she climb? Well, at the top of the stairs there was a door.
No, the stairs on the outside, the metal stairs.
We'll get the fire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Okay.
Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Rain. I'm trying to figure out how she got up there. My brain is working.
But also, if she was to open the door to the roof, an alarm would have been triggered as well.
Ah, there was no alarm, or the alarm was ignored. If it was ignored.
It could have been ignored, but it was rumoured that it really just, nothing was heard.
Okay.
Like, it could have been broken, as
true.
a lot of the things in the hotel probably was. But we'll never know.
We'll never know.
The fire escape. There we go, we got to it now. She could have used that, as it was accessible. And
maybe too.
when the dogs were in the hotel, when they lost her scent, they lost the scent to the window that could have accessed the fire escape.
Ah, so there's a high probability that she used the window in the fire escape to get in there.
Yeah, exactly. Another issue that many people talk about is how she even got into the tank. You know, it's not a simple thing to get into.
It's not. It's very difficult.
They're very big, very heavy.
Very heavy.
All metal, you know. Ladders, staff and such would have to use ladders to even get to the top. And the opening was quite small.
Yeah.
And they'd have to use the ladders to even look into it, not just even get in the water tanks. And apparently there was also, like, staff they didn't really go in the tanks, because when you went in the tank, there was no way to get out of the tank. Especially if there was water in it.
Yeah.
They have very heavy lids. So if the lids were closed, it's very, very unlikely that someone, especially as slim and such as Elisa was, would be able to open them. However, the worker who found her said that the lid was open at the time he found her.
Okay. But didn't he, like, say it was closed and then say it was open afterwards?
There's a documentary about Elisa Lam on Netflix. I think it's still on there at the minute.
Really good.
I think it's called The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel or something like that.
It's like The Vanishing of Elisa Lam or something.
Yeah, and it's really, really good. You know, if you want to hear this case in more detail, hear a few more theories, that kind of thing, I'd definitely recommend checking it out. But yeah, there was one part where the worker originally said that the tank lid was closed, which would have been very difficult, and then later changed his statement. And it's a bit unknown why he did that. So
it's sus.
Yeah, it's a bit sus. So when I said rumouredly about the evidence, the rape kit that was done and the fingernail kit is actually unknown if they were ever even processed by the police.
Great.
They said that they apparently did one, but
we did one.
We just don't know if it was ever done and processed. She did actually have poolings of blood around the anal area.
Oh.
And she was also prolapsed. But people say this could have been from the body bloating after death, all that kind of thing, the decomposition. I also want to point out that her phone was never ever found. They say that it was probably stolen. You know, several people have been in and out of her room at the time. The phone is also not seen on the elevator footage either. But yeah, never found to this day.
Great. That's not suspicious at all.
No. Her family afterwards did try and sue the hotel for a wrongful death.
Let me guess, they weren't having that, were they?
Yeah, no, the hotel put up a really big fight and basically was like, oh, you know, it was her own fault for going up to the roof. It would have been really hard for her to get into the tank, so the fact that she did, it makes it not our fault. And unfortunately, the case was dismissed. And the last main really thing I want to state is that it's important to note that, and this helps the theories as well, that not every floor on the Cecil Hotel even had CCTV cameras. And unfortunately, the floor that Elisa was staying on,
CCTV cameras.
it did not have CCTV cameras.
Dumbasses.
I do believe that it was probably accidental death. I do believe it was probably because she hadn't taken her meds and she wasn't very well mentally. I still don't understand
why they were acting so suspiciously.
Why she would have gone up to the roof when she could have gone down if she felt like she needed to escape something. I don't understand why she would have thought climbing up a water tank would have been the best option. I think it delved into that she might have thought maybe it would be a good hiding spot. And then obviously clearly didn't think it through and then couldn't get out of it once she was in it.
Yep.
I think it was just quite it's quite a sad one. It could have been prevented, especially if the Cecil had been, a lot more
safe
and maintained. Yeah. I do also want to point out that at the end of the documentary, it also states that work has been done on the Cecil Hotel, and I find this horrendous. They are planning, and I don't know if they've done it already, on turning the rooftop into a bar and pool area.
I heard that.
That will all be surrounded by the water tanks that she died in. So yeah,
that's nice. So now people can get drunk next to her place of murder.
Yeah, next to her place of death. Yep, you can go have a little swim, like she probably did in the water tank, and maybe you will have more luck than she did. And it's almost like they're asking for more people to get drunk, climb up the water tank and fall in it, isn't it?
I mean, they've got an entire pool. They don't need a water tank.
Well, you can imagine some fucking frat boys be like, oh, I dare you to climb up that, and then fall in. Maybe they'll be discovered sooner than she was. But
here's hoping, because, frat boys are more popular than,
unfortunately,
mentally ill alone teenage girls.
Yeah, but, yeah. So be careful.
That was a delicious one, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Be careful if you go up to the rooftop in the Cecil. That's all I'm saying.
I don't tend to go up on the rooftop of anywhere, to be fair.
I mean, I'm glad. I'd like to keep it that way.
Okay,
preferably.
Alright, got it. No going up onto the roofs. It's a shame, it's where I was planning to go.
Oh, surely. But yeah, that's the case of Elisa Lam, unfortunately. Pretty sad one, very infamous. If you want to see the elevator scene, you can see it on places such as YouTube.
The fact that YouTube just has...
I mean, to be fair, her death isn't in the video, it's just the lady acting strangely. So it is available to view on popular places such as that. There is also other people that cover the case, show pictures, that kind of thing on there as well. So yeah.
Seems weird. There's a lot of people profiting from this woman's death.
It is, but I don't think the Cecil really learned his lesson.
Oh no, without a doubt. No.
The manager, who's still the manager there to this day, she definitely hasn't learned a lesson.
Disgusting.
So yeah, that was the Elisa Lam case. I'm Beth. That was Becky.
I am Becky. That is Beth.
Join us next time. Like I said, we'll be covering Ed Gein.
I am.
It's going to be a fruity one.
I'm excited.
And Becky may cry. So over and out, lads.
I'm being bullied.